Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel, We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And welcome to our spoiler review of another episode of What We Do in the Shadows. And what we're talking about in this video is episode 9, Witches.
Five spits for
the
you.
enemy, Lilith. As always, we are going to be talking about spoilers in this video. So if you haven't watched What We Do in the Shadows, the latest episode, if you're not caught up and you don't want spoilers, simply click out of this video, bookmark us, add us to your watch later list, and come on back later. And with that said, here's your spoiler warning, and let's get into it. I have been looking forward to this episode ever since I saw in the previous week the title for this week's episode, Witches. I was like, yes, they're gonna have some witches, and I just knew Nadja was going to have some sort of feud with these witches. And it was so funny and random too, because I feel like usually in the past, and this always usually happens in their front yard.
Yeah, I like the fact that they actually do have a lot of things that do kind of culminate and kind of happen, not just in the house, but also outside and around the house.
I mean, I think the best was in the previous episode where Laszlo and what's-his-face were fighting over the hat. And the car went by and it kept on bouncing it back and forth.
The bat fight that they had, and they kept on getting...
So funny. But this week, some witches came and kidnapped both Laszlo and Nandor, which left Nadja, Colin, Robinson, and I can't not say his
Colin
last
Robinson.
name. Yeah.
It's like one of those things. That is his name.
Colin Robinson?
Colin Robinson.
And Guillermo had to go and find them. And what's really funny is, you didn't really know what was happening, but Nadja knew, because she's always been a little bit suspicious of, something's weird. That carpet tripped me. Witches.
I like the fact that that's one of the gags that they did for this episode, was the fact that they had previous clips of, witches were involved. Witches! And then finally... and then finally... something with witches actually happens, and even Colin Robinson's like, witches, huh? Go fig, it actually happened.
Yeah, everybody, I feel bad because Nadja, the same thing happened to her with ghosts.
Yeah, no one believed her about ghosts. I love how they have that, they set up a joke, and then they give you a few examples of it in the past. They give you some of those, what is that called? Flashbacks, in a sense. And it's hilarious how they're able to develop these kind of gags.
It's so funny, and I feel like we got because things come in 3, right? So we got one more with Nadja, but then they maybe believe her. They're okay, if she said it, we gotta believe it, and it actually happens, but then they're prepared this time for the next one. So the witches come in, and it's fun because they incorporated the black sheep as well. Or the goat, sorry, the goat. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, Black Phillip! From the movie The Witch. So,
but even at the end, he goes, okay, Black Phillip, and then he walks away.
Did he really?
I think he called him that.
I
might have been mistaken, but I remember him actually giving, what is it, because at the very end, as Guillermo is walking out of the witch's store, he has a little bit of a conversation with the goat, and he goes, okay, Black Phillip, and he walks away.
I must have missed it. Oh my god, maybe I was chuckling about something else, so I missed it. Oh my god, how funny is that?
But another thing that was very cool about this episode was how Guillermo is starting to develop. That he's kind of becoming this guy to where he's like, I don't care about my job anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. Even though now things are better. He's getting a day off a week. He's getting
15-minute break every 4 hours, as per labor law. But I think I want to respectfully disagree on that he doesn't care. It's not that he doesn't care, but I think he knows that he has a leg to stand up on now.
Yeah.
After, he has the choice to leave, and Nandor knows that he can leave. So there is always a little bit of that trump card now that's at the back of Guillermo's pocket.
Yeah.
But I think Guillermo has also... He's been with these vampires for so many years.
For 11 years.
Now that they're, in a sense, like family. So why leave to serve another master who could...
end up just killing him.
Yeah, and maybe I know he wants to keep hoping that if he continues to work and put in his time, he will become a vampire. But I think it's funny because Naja's like, what is this? Like,
and yeah, he's sitting in the corner.
give
He
you a
has his
break from your
headphones
break.
on, and he's like just texting on his phone, and he's popping bubble gum. He looks like a perfect example of the disgruntled worker.
Like, don't talk to
I
me
am
right now. I'm not on
my
the clock.
break.
Yeah. So I love that, and it's funny because he was resisting on helping with the witches in the beginning because he was still on his break. But the second that the little cloud came down and got both Laszlo and Guillermo, and then we looked up and he saw the witches on their brooms flying, he's like, I'll go get the keys. I'll drive.
He's like, okay, we're going.
So of course they go to the store, which I was like, what a perfect, like, for like candles, essential oils, whatever it is, to be a store, like an actual front, like a fake store front for a witches gathering. It's so perfect. And I love how this episode continues to remind us that when we're watching the show, we're watching from the lenses of a documentary crew.
Yes.
I always forget because they're so silent, and the camera, like, it's pretty steady and everything, so you're not thinking documentary until they do like a reminder, and you're like, oh
yeah, that's right. There's a whole crew with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the fact that they acknowledged it twice in this, and it was the witches that were like, oh yeah, and bring your camera crew. And the camera was fun. He was trying to sneak in. He's like, there's no okay, come on, and
he points to like the little bucket full of brooms, showing that the witches are there. So they go in. Laszlo and Nandor are basically captured, tied up, and the witches are about to perform this
a ritual
that was going to basically extract their semen so they can continue to look gorgeous and everything. And of course, like, the only people that were able to help were Colin Robinson, Nadja, and Guillermo, who really, I feel like Colin, like, contributed nothing.
Well,
minus, like, opening doors that showing us, like, oh,
yeah,
we shouldn't go in there.
And they get locked into this closet with all these many doors.
Like Harry
and
Potter.
Guillermo's the one who actually figures out how to get out of there.
Exit.
And Colin Robinson's trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm the one who figured it out. But I also love the fact that it seems like he gets a little offended that he's like, well, why wasn't I kidnapped? I'm an energy vampire. But obviously all of the witches were kind of like,
yeah, no thanks.
Oh no, it's okay.
No thanks.
We don't need your
Even
semen.
though they tied him up, he like volunteered it. They're like, yeah, no, it's okay. And what's funny is that naturally Nadja has a past with Lilith, with the head witch, which is kind of what brought on her little like confessional moment of her 5 spits. 5 spits for the enemy Lilith.
And then, yeah, because the witch transforms into, like, if someone was trying to do a Nadia cosplay, that's kind of how she ended up looking.
Long black hair, goth
Nadia's
makeup,
like,
a slight
she
accent.
doesn't look at all like me. What is this? And of course, Nandor and Laszlo are both like, I can't tell the difference. And what is it? Because the witch had an affair with Laszlo.
Yeah.
Wow, her and Nadia were friends and working together.
Yep, that's an unspoken rule. You don't touch that.
And I just love the fact, though, that at the end, it's Guillermo that kind of comes up and, like, solves the problem.
Solves the whole issue, and now he makes, monthly deliveries?
Monthly deliveries.
Of some jars of semen.
Vampire semen.
To the witches, which, like, just cracks me up. Like, just add another thing to the poor guy's list of things like he probably doesn't love to do and will do anyways. And he deserves those 15 minutes breaks, and he deserves that one.
He deserves to be turned into a vampire, which is what he's always wanted to do. But yeah, and then he's making all these deliveries, and he comes out of the store, and that's where he bumps into Black Phillip.
It's so funny.
Maybe he calls him Black Pete, but I remember it was a P name.
It could be Pete.
But I remember him giving him a name, and I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it either.
I didn't catch what the reference was. You knew the name.
Yeah, from the previous movie.
That
I mentioned.
But I didn't connect the two. You just didn't hear the name.
We're going to have to rewatch it.
With our powers combined, we were able to put together.
We're just going to Google it after this
egg.
video ends. But this was such a fun episode. I was hoping that they would touch on the witches because they talked about zombies. We've seen the werewolves. We've seen necromancers. What else have we seen? Ghosts.
Trolls.
So it's like
I love it when they
natural that way they would bring in another aspect of like this, like, you know, fantastic world.
Yeah, this bringing in other elements of the supernatural is, I love it. I love it when they do it. When they bring in other vampires, when they bring in ghouls, ghosts, goblins.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see some goblins in this.
Maybe, I mean, there's a few more episodes left, so maybe there will be another one.
And there's going to be a whole season 3.
Yay! We're so excited. Anyways, that is our review and recap of the previous episode, Witches, for What We Do in the Shadows. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below, and what other supernatural entities you would like to see featured in another episode of What We Do in the Shadows. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!